Okay, the issue here is trying to show him that you're serious. And I feel like a lot of ladies are going about it the wrong way, okay? When you start using his surname and you're not married, that is like, why are you trying? It's more like you're twisting his arm, you know, you're speeding up this process before it reaches that point. So now you are in a relationship, long distance relationship, and you have already claimed his surname. He hasn't put a ring on your finger. He has, like, you are not at that level yet, okay? But you're trying to speed up the process because you want to show him that you're serious. Oh babe, look how serious I am. I have changed my social media. Now I am calling myself Mrs. Johnson. You're not Mrs. Johnson. That's the thing. You don't become Mrs. Johnson until first there are steps. There are steps that needs to be taken for you to become Mrs. Johnson. He needs to propose to you, and he needs to do it the right way. Give him time to prepare. If he loves you and you love each other, he's working on something. Stop rushing him. Stop twisting his arm. Give him time to prepare that engagement proposal, that surprise, and engage you. Give him time now for you guys to prepare what kind of wedding you want to do. If it's a registry wedding because of paperwork, go and do your registry wedding. Now you're married, by the way. It doesn't matter, as long as you have that marriage certificate. Now you're married. Now you can finally be Mrs. Johnson legally. But I feel like what is happening here is you're trying to show him how serious you are, but you could actually be putting him off, because men, naturally men, it doesn't matter, white, black, Africans, Asians, men like chasing, okay? But you are now chasing him. You are taking his name, you're taking all these titles that he hasn't given you. He hasn't agreed to this. But maybe you spoke to him, but now he found himself on a tight spot because he can't refuse you to use his name, because maybe you're gonna get upset. So because maybe you had a video call, it's like, babe, do you think I should change my social media and now call myself Mrs. Johnson? Then he's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, you can do that, yeah. So now you're like, yeah, he's so serious about me now. He even agreed. He only agreed because he doesn't want to have a fight with you, and it's a long distance relationship. The more fights you can avoid, the better. So maybe he's just trying to avoid a fight, but this is not how it works. In his country, that's not how it works. Even in your country, that's not how it works. You cannot just, start calling yourself Mrs. Njogona. Okay, maybe you can because you're trying to show he's your man, but it's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to call yourself Mrs. Njuguna once Njuguna marries you. But you're forcing issues, you're twisting his arm. Now I'm Mrs. Johnson on all social media, because you're like, if something goes wrong, I'm going, oh babe, you see all the things we did. I even changed my social media and I called myself Mrs. Johnson. Then you have to change it back to Rose. Showing a man you're serious about him, it's not about changing your social media and adopting his surname and you're not married. It's not about showing him your nudity. It's not about it's not about all those things. It's about building this relationship, building it, growing roots, making plans, talking, communicating as much as you can, because that's all you're doing online. Video calling as much as you can, exchanging different aspects of your lives as you go during the day. You see something, you send him a picture. Oh, look babe, this is where I am and this is what is happening. Oh, look at this cute picture I took. It's all about having him in your life, making him feel he's part of your life and a part of what is going on. Not a part of your life that you're showing him your nakedness. No, you're showing him that he's close to you. He's forever in your mind. You're thinking about him. You want to show him what's going on, you know, something you find funny, something you find interesting, you want to share with him, because that's the first, you want to show him he's the first person that comes to mind when you see something that you want to share with someone. But this whole, now I'm Mrs. Johnson, now I'm Mrs. Smith, now I'm Mrs. I don't know. It's not gonna sustain your relationship. This is not what is gonna make it like now be solid. It's not gonna solidify your relationship. Taking your clothes off on video call is not gonna solidify your relationship. Okay? If the man has decided you're the one, then you guys make plans. If he's in a country where you're not able to keep visiting him, he's gonna be making plans how he's gonna keep visiting you until you can finally be united. You can finally be together and live together. But all these things you're doing to speed up the process, it could actually ruin things. If you keep twisting his arm with these things, you know, oh babe, show me your mother, show me your... When he's ready to introduce you to his part of the family, he will do it. But if you keep pushing him, you probably put him off. Because you're just so desperate. You're just pushing and pushing and pushing. You're not giving him peace. Even picking him up from the airport, and you're picking him up for the first time, and then you're saying you're going to pick up your husband from the airport, that's... And if he has told you, this is another thing you guys don't see as a red flag. When somebody has already claimed you as his wife, and he knows in his country that's not how it works. You don't say somebody is your wife and you're not married to them. In fact, in those developed countries, paperwork is what speaks. You cannot say, this is my wife. No. You even find people who have lived together for 20 years. I have seen people who just live together in the same house for 20 years, but they don't get married. And they always introduce themselves that this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend. Somebody is 65 years old and the woman is 60, and they are still boyfriend and girlfriend. Or my partner, this is my partner. That's how they introduce themselves. They will never say, this is my wife. And they have lived together for 20 years. 20 years together in the same house. But somebody is coming and then they say, you're my wifey, you're my wife. He's doing that to shut you up and to make you do exactly what he wants, because he wants to take advantage of you. He wants to take you to that comfortable space where you're like, oh my God, my mzungu is actually calling me his wife. Imagine he's calling me his wife. That's an insult. In his country, it's not done like that. You don't go around saying somebody is your wife and you haven't put a ring on it. You don't have a marriage certificate. That's not your wife. So, if he tells you that you're his wife, then you're like, well, hopefully soon you'll make it happen. You remind him that he needs to make it happen so it can be legal, so you can be legally his wife. But when he's planning to come, is because he wants to come and have fun with you and use you however he wants, and you cannot even demand anything from him because he has said that you're his wife. And you're over here on social media saying, it's my husband, this is my husband. He's not your husband. He's your husband when you go to Sharia house, or when you go to your church, or wherever it is that you want to go and get married, and get that marriage certificate signed and sealed and delivered. And ring, an engagement ring, proper one, not a fake one, proper one, because you're worth it, and you're worth every good thing. Because if he finds a wife, he finds a good thing. Therefore, he should give you good things as well. Because those are memories. You're going to have a happy marriage. But these things, you guys, you take things lightly. They come, they misuse you, they play around with you, they give you false promises, and you assume, you ignore all the red flags. You assume everything is perfect because he has called you his wife, and you are calling him, my husband, Mrs. Johnson.